Hey guys, welcome to today's video. We're going to talk about how to contour the face. This was a much requested video and I am so excited to do this video and just really sit down and talk about how to contour for every day. You guys, it is so different from what you see on TV or on the red carpet or on reality superstars or people like J-Lo who are the queen of contouring. It is very different from what we're gonna do for every day because we don't want to look crazy when we're just going to the grocery store, going out to lunch, or going shopping, or just in general for everyday use, because it is very, very different. And you have to remember, everybody's face structure is different, so I'm just giving you a very generalized overview of both cream and powder, or when to use it, why we need both, or if we even need both. We're gonna talk about all the products I like, and we're also gonna focus on online makeup education and how to get certified. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright you guys, before we get started, I'm Christy. If you're new to my channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell so you can get notified. I do upload new videos every Sunday and you don't want to miss it. I love communicating with you guys every Sunday. I feel like I have a group of girlfriends and we're just on there saying hello to each other. So be sure to stop by and say hello. Hit that like button. It really helps me out. Give this video a huge thumbs up and follow me at Christy Allure on Instagram and on my blog, ChristyAllure.com. There's a lot to get to today. We are doing a full contouring video, and this was a much requested video from you guys, and I am so excited to finally sit down and teach you guys everything I know. Contouring can be very complicated, it can be very intimidating, and there's so many different ways, so we will jump into that in just a second. But a portion of this video is getting sponsored by Online Makeup Academy, so I am very excited to partner up with them because I really truly believe in education, you guys. I got my college education. I wasn't sure what I was going to do with it. I took a totally different path from what I originally did out of college, but I really think it's important to just really educate yourself on any passion that you have. When I first told my mom I was going to do makeup, I was like, I had such a passion for makeup and I was, getting out of my old job. She was like, whatever you do, if you decide to go on YouTube, educate yourself. Either get your cosmetology license, your esthetician license, and my mom was a cosmetologist of 50 years, or some type of certification, and really educate yourself if this is really what you're passionate about. So when they reached out to me to partner up and do this video, I was like, I'm in. I think this is great, and it's a great way to just really incorporate it with how to contour, because how to contour, how to do makeup in general really depends on your knowledge, and I have to learn. I have to continue learning, and even if you're not going into the beauty industry, I think it's a good way, it's money well spent to get your pro card and be able to get huge discounts on all of our favorite brands like Makeup Forever, Anastasia. There's so many different brands and websites like Friends Beauty, Nigel's, that you can get really good discounts. I mean, alone it was worth it for me. But not only that, I'm getting the knowledge to teach you guys, and that's why I'm so excited that there are online makeup certification where you don't have to go into a full-blown cosmetology license or esthetician license if that's not something you want to do, like hair or skincare or any of those other avenues that you can go into by getting your license. Is it important? In some states, actually, it does require a esthetician and cosmetology license. I know that for a fact because when I was going to start teaching makeup with a different company, I actually was called out on that. Does she have an esthetician license or a cosmetology license? Because you cannot do makeup if you don't have that in California. So I called the board of cosmetology because my mom thought it was really important for me to do that. And she did tell me that if you are going to do makeup for brides or somewhere where they're paying you to do the services and they're going out and getting married or whatever the case is, you do need some type of license behind you. A makeup certification is not enough. But if you want to teach or do private clientele, you can. And there's gray areas. Obviously, there's a lot of celebrity makeup artists out there that don't have their esthetician or cosmetology license and are still doing makeup for film or any of that stuff. So you can, for photography, you can still do it with a makeup certification, just so you know that. There are gray areas and it just differs state to state. So keep that in mind. But all in all, it is important, especially if this is your passion. And I think it's money well spent. Like I said, just alone in the Pro card, the discounts you get is crazy good. Plus, if you have like a young child, my mom said, you know, I wish I would have done that with you. I should have I don't even know if they were around at that time. I'm kind of old now. But she said, if I was a parent now and you were like, Mom, I want to get into makeup, I would say, yeah, you're going to get your certification first, because then they can decide whether or not they want to go down that route later on, especially if they're very passionate about makeup. If they want to work at MAC or some type of makeup counter, they'll have that certification behind them and they're learning how to put makeup on the appropriate way. Because sometimes, I'm a YouTuber, sometimes, young girls go on YouTube and are like, I want to do my makeup like that, but for every day, is that really necessary, right? Or for that age division, is it really necessary? So I think it is really important. If I had a daughter or if I had kids in general or a son, whoever it is that wanted to get into makeup, I would be like, okay, good. I'm going to buy you this. It'll be money well spent, and I'm going to get you certified, and I'm going to get you mostly not just certified, but I'm going to get you the education that goes behind it. So let's jump over to their website right there. They're one of the best online makeup academies on the market. They're internationally accredited for anyone, no matter what location you're in. They provide access to an NYC-based education with professionals on hand to teach you everything you know. You will get all the latest post-COVID guidelines on sanitation, plus you can get certified and become eligible for a Pro Card discount that will save you, again, a lot of money. Post-graduation, you can also get mentorship programs and guidance, and they have been kind enough to give you guys a coupon code of $100 off if you use Christy Allure with the money sign 100 off. So I'm so excited that they're giving you guys $100 off. So be sure to use my coupon code. I will have all the information in the description box. And thank you so much to Online Makeup Academy. Let's just jump into the contour portion of this video. All right, you guys, let's jump into the tutorial portion of this video. I did get a lot of requests on how to contour. I'm gonna give you all the products that I like. These are not products you have to go out and buy. I am not here to promote any products or review any products. This is just strictly products that I personally like, and it's gonna differ for everybody. And you guys need to remember with contouring that it really just depends on your face structure. So there's not just one video out there that's gonna be like, oh, that's how I contour my face, because we all have different face structures. Some have very oval faces, some have very round faces, some have very heart-shaped faces. There are so many. That's why God made us all unique and beautiful in our own way, and all our face structures are going to be different. So you're going to contour based on your face structure. If you have a larger forehead, you're going to contour your forehead a lot different from somebody who has a smaller forehead. And I go back to the basics and what I learned long time ago when I was a professional dancer, to do the number 3. That's old school now, and a lot of people don't even talk about that. But to me, that's the basic way to contour any face structure. So I am not going to base this video on a certain face structure. I'm just going to give you a very, very simple way to just kind of look a little more chiseled, a little more snatchel, as Scott Barnes would say, and use products that really can work for you in the daylight, in the evening. You can spice it up more for special events, but this is just going to be a very basic way to do it. So let's start off with the fact, do I need a cream contour or do I need a powdered contour? contour. It's preference. It's what you want to do. If you like a more, just a very sun-kissed natural look, you could just do a cream contour and keep it very, very simple and do something more like, typically contouring is something that they did back in the days when photographers were really trying to shadow a model's face structure and really bring out her cheekbones and stuff like that. And you would typically use more of like a ash tone base, you know, a very, very either ash or neutral tone, like a lot of pink undertones in there, because it's really just casting that shadow to really sculpt the face. The problem with real life and daylight is if you do too ashy, it can look a little muddy, you know, in person, even on camera, especially if you're not a professional makeup artist and it's not something you do. So I would not recommend doing that if you're just looking for a very, very basic contoured look and you're not very skillful in that, because blending is a huge key in that, and you have to really know how to blend and really know how to make it look natural for average people, right, like us that just go out on a normal day to go to the grocery store, go shopping, or go out to lunch or dinner or whatever you're doing. You have to really know what you're doing with that. So I would stick to something more neutral if you're contouring, or even not too warm because you don't want it to look weird. So you kind of want to stick to like more of those neutral tones. And I'll show examples right there of neutral tones versus warm tones versus very, very cool tones. So if you are looking for a very natural, contoured, bronzy look, my biggest recommendation is this Chanel one. This is just a holy grail of mine. This is a perfect, like, neutral tone. It just really glides onto the skin. You can barely almost see it, but it's just so easy to really just give that skin a very natural, contoured, cream base look, especially if you have very dry skin. Unfortunately, the Soleil de Chanel tan, the original, now comes in a different formulation, and it has a lot of that coconut oil in it, and I have it, but I haven't even used it because I'm scared to use it. I'm still working off my old one that didn't have it, and that was the original formulation. But what I found is the Tom Ford one is a really good alternative, and this is another just extremely creamy one and just so easy. And that one actually produces even a little bit more color. This is Intensity 1. It comes in 0.5. I think it has like 3 different shades. I'll put it right there. But this is also a phenomenal one too. So once I run out of my old Chanel one, I'll probably just start using the Tom Ford one more often. Those are very pricey though. Another great alternative is the KKW contour sticks. I mean, who better to come out with contour products than Kim Kardashian? She is the queen of contour. So this is another one. This is medium, and it has one side that's a little bit darker and then one side that's a little bit more orangey. So I don't particularly like the orangey one as much, but these are extremely blendable. I mean, just see how easy that blends out. So if you're a beginner, I would stick to cream contour products like that. Another one that I absolutely love and I use quite often, and it is so affordable, I want to say it's like $6, and it's actually an eyeshadow base, but honestly, these are perfect for contouring. And it doesn't have anything in there that makes me break out. I bought the light one and the dark one, and I highlight and contour with these eyeshadow bases. They are phenomenal, and they're so easy to just really blend out. I don't use it so much on my cheek. I use it more on my nose with that darker one, because honestly, I don't cream contour my cheekbones that much unless I'm going somewhere nice or I'm filming something. It's not something I do on a daily basis. I'd rather powder contour, which leads me to powder contouring. So that question of when do I powder, when do I cream, you don't have to do, you could do one or the other, or you can do both. Remember, if you're going somewhere fancy, I would recommend doing both, because whenever you powder down a cream product, is going to give it the ultimate staying power. It's not going to budge. It's not going to move. You can go out and do a very natural, beautiful, you can do this Tom Ford cream contour and just walk out the door, and it's going to be very, very natural and beautiful and glowy and luminous. But if you have oily skin or just skin that product moves around, I wouldn't recommend just walking out the door and doing that. But that's up to you. Again, makeup is preference. There's no rules in makeup. It's just advice that I would give you. So if I were to want a more natural luminous look, I would use this Tom Ford one, and then I would set it down with like a translucent powder. My favorite one is actually the Pat McGrath, and this is the under eye setting powder, but she also has her loose powders that would be really good and deep. And she comes out with these perfect deep tones, is why I like using hers. And her silky, it's just so silky and pretty. This is deep. This is the darkest it comes in, but it is a very beautiful way to set a cream contour. I will pop up that Pat McGrath video right there. I did utilize this technique in that video, so if you want to see that. So as far as cream contour brushes, I love this MAC one. This is the MAC 180S. I don't know. I'll put it down on the bottom. This is a dual fiber brush for just really getting in there. I wouldn't recommend going too big. I mean, yes, you can do a dual fiber brush like the Sigma one, but this is better for like blush because you're going to get a bigger area to work with. This is just to really make sure your contour doesn't go all over the place. Another good one is Bdellium Tools. This is the 9531. Bdellium is more geared towards makeup artist. So I did buy this with my pro card. So if you sign up with Online Makeup Academy and you get your makeup certification, you can get onto sites like Friends Beauty and you will get tremendously good discounts. And then another affordable one would be this Real Techniques one. This is their highlighting brush actually, but I love it for contouring. I think it is a perfect way to really get in there. This is more fluffy and dense, so you're gonna pick up a little bit more pigment with this one, where it's like this MAC dual fiber one is going to blend it out and give it more of a natural effect. Anytime you use dual fiber brushes, this is the biggest I would ever go on a contour. This is a dual fiber brush as well. This is another MAC one, but this would be the biggest I would ever go. So as you can tell, it's still a lot smaller than, let's just say I love this LA Girl one for blush. You can see the heads this one's a lot bigger. This one just contours to your face and it just takes up more real estate. Actually, this is one where if I'm in a hurry and I want to just do this Tom Ford cream one, I'm going to go in there and just do it really fast, and this covers the geography really well. If I have more time and I really want to get more structure, this is a really good one, especially for underneath the chin as well. When it comes to nose contour, I will only use my Luxie Nose Perfector brush. This is just my holy grail brush to nose contour with. I will not contour with anything but this product. So that's the cream products. You can either do the cream or leave out the cream completely and just do a simple powder, which is normally what I do on a daily basis if I'm doing my makeup. So I really love the Bronze Film Star Glow with Charlotte Tilbury. I mean, her products are phenomenal, right? They're just phenomenal for contouring. You can go with her bronzer. I like shade 2 for contouring because it is more of like a cool tone shade. And always remember, you can contour with bronzers too, but typically I like my bronzers more on the warm side. I like my contours more on the neutral cool tone side. So I would use this color for my contour, but this is I would almost like to set with that one more because it doesn't show up so much on my skin. So if I'm really looking to not put a lot of effort into it, that's not one I'm gonna reach for. And then Scott Barnes. I mean, Scott Barnes is J-Lo's makeup artist. He comes out with a phenomenal contour bronzing palette. I talked about this and actually used it in a Get Ready With Me video. I will pop it up right there. And this has perfect tones just to mix and match and contour with. You can use these as brow. It's just a multitasker. They're wonderful as eyeshadows too. Now we're gonna go to my 2 favorites. I saved the best for last. My favorite contouring is KEVYN AUCOIN. KEVYN AUCOIN, if you guys are not familiar, I'm sure if you're a huge makeup enthusiast like I am, KEVYN AUCOIN used to work on J-Lo before Scott Barnes. He was kind of the originator, bringing it back, right? Because actually photographers really came up with the whole contour look, and drag queens and stuff like that. So I love this palette only because I have the small one and I use medium probably most often, but what I like about this one is it has the light, medium, and dark, and I can kind of mix and match. It has this blush, it has this highlight, but this is the contour book, The Art of Sculpting and Defining, Volume 3. This is a phenomenal palette. It is really good. Or just stick to, like, if you really know that you're not going to use too much of it, like typically I use this one more on my nose, and I'll show you the other one I like for my cheekbones. But this is, and you can definitely use this on your cheekbones as well. This is like the perfect contour color, and for me, because it has like those really cool tone depths to it. All right, let's go with the most basic one, and that is HOOLA Bronzer by Benefit Cosmetics. Is just that perfect neutral. You cannot mess up with this color. It is perfect. Another one is the MAC Pro Sculpting. I always forget. I'll put it right there. that color right there is just perfect. So HOOLA and MAC, but very similar, as you can tell. The MAC one has a little bit more pink undertones in it. Let me see if I can swatch that for you. So a little bit more pink undertones in it. All right, let's go with the Kim Kardashian one, because I do think this is a really good one and a good price point. So we're gonna start off with that darker one. So again, it has two ends. This is more orange side. I'm gonna go with the darker one, which is medium 2. And I just think that's a really good tone to begin with. It's not too neutral, it's not too orange, it's, you know, it's really kind of in between, but a good one to really start off with. So what you want to do, and again, everybody's face structure is different. So if you already have a very narrow, long face, obviously you're not going to contour to give yourself even more of a narrow face, right? So you're going to probably like stick to like right here more. Now, if you have more a fuller area right here, you definitely want to go down a little bit lower and really chisel up that. But again, we're going to keep this very, very simple. But the best way to do it is feel your anatomy, feel your cheekbones. So like my cheekbone is right there. So that is where I'm going to place my contour. So it's like right here. So I'm going to take this and I'm just gonna draw like that. And what I would do is I would start kind of small and don't go all the way down, because you can blend it going down. Again, I'm gonna do the same thing right here. I'm gonna fill under there, and then I'm just gonna go right there. Just that for right now. We're not gonna do too much. And then when you contour right here, you're basically slimming down your face, right? If maybe you ate a little too much during quarantine and you're feeling a little like you have some, you know, unwanted weight right there, this is a good way to just chisel that out. Contouring is basically giving yourself a facelift and fooling people, and I love it. I'm here for it. So what you would do is you want to go underneath that area, like right there, and that's gonna just basically shadow that and like make it look like we're like that, okay? And then what you want to do is you want to focus the contouring up here more, and then just kind of blend. And you always want to go up, because if you go down, you're dragging your face down. So, and you don't want to get it into this area, so you really want to stay where it's concentrated. So what I would do is just push that up like that. Do you see how easy that was? It's a very natural way to contour the cheek area. And I'm just gonna go along the forehead like that. And all that's doing is just kind of slimming that area. If you have a larger forehead, you can kind of, I'm not gonna do it because I don't really have a large forehead. I'll just take the product with the brush in, but you can kind of shade that area as well. Again, I just wanna keep this very, very, very simple. And then what you're gonna do is just kind of brushing it into your hairline like that. And that's just shadowing. That's all that's doing. And then the golden old school way to do it was doing a 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. And then on the chin line, you can kind of brush it down like that. You can kind of go like that, just however you really want to do it. Yeah, that is just a gorgeous, natural way to contour the face. Let me show you guys the Tom Ford one, because this is the one I'm probably gonna go for more than the Chanel one. Do you see how that one's very easy to blend? as well. And it doesn't show up too much. And the thing is, because contouring is not as in as it used to be, like a lot of people are kind of not doing it. They're just bronzing out the skin now. You want to go a little bit lighter. I think a lot of us want to go darker just because we're like, oh, I'm medium skin tone, especially somebody like my skin tone. I'm light medium skin tone. I want to go darker. But the darker you go, the harder it is to blend out. So you're just making your life, and it's not as natural. So just remember that. Another way to do it is go like this. And that's when you can really see that cheekbone. And do you see how natural that looks? It doesn't look muddy. It still chisels my features, but not to a degree where I think it looks unnatural. All right, let's go into the nose area. So this is the Beauty Bay. This is, again, probably the perfect color, even more than the KKW one. This is the perfect contour color. But I am not gonna go directly on my skin. I am actually gonna do this on my hand. And if you're a beginner at contouring, I would recommend doing it this way instead of going directly on the skin, because when you go directly onto the skin, you're giving yourself more to blend and more to work with. So what you would want to do is, what I like to do is really like start, you want to get up to your eyebrows, but I like to start in the middle, like right here. Let me make sure I don't have too much on my, and I like to make sure there's not too much on that brush and do really light hand at first. All you're doing is making sure you're getting a nice clean line there. And then what you could do is you can cut off right here, and you can do it like in the middle right there. You can also go underneath the nose, and that kind of lifts up the nose a little bit. Let me take a little bit more product, and then we're just gonna kind of cut that. So you're basically giving yourself a nose job. And then whatever's left over on the product, I'm gonna go this way. The lighter hand you are, the easier it will be to blend out this product. Now this is kind of a sloppy job. When I do it like off camera, I'm going really more, I can really see better, and it's just easier for me, but we're just kind of doing it the best we can right now. And then what I'm gonna do is take that clean side, make sure it's clean, and what you wanna do is go in. Don't go out, because that's where your lighter part of your concealer is gonna go. You're gonna go in like that. And don't go too heavy-handed, because then you're gonna take away all the product, and then you have to rebuild it, and you don't wanna have to do that. And you're gonna go in and blend it out anyways with your blender. So let me take a little bit more on this side. So the closer the lines are, the more pinched in your nose is gonna look. If you want your nose to look wider, maybe your nose is just really narrow, you'll separate those lines even more. And then what you can do, let's try the KKW one. I like the lighter Beauty Bay one too, but since this came in the little thing, let's try the KKW one. Let's see, this is the lighter one. Yeah, that'd be good. All right, so this one you can just go down. Oh yeah, this is nice. Just go down the bridge of the nose. Make sure you're straight with that. And that's just gonna pronounce it even more. And then you'll go back in with your little brush, doing the full shebang. Since I don't really hardly ever contour my nose on camera, I thought this was a good way to do it. And again, everybody does it different, so watch different videos. Maybe your face structure is a little different. I'm kind of going to my own personal face structure, but you know, check out other videos. And then you can go in with your blender and then just kind of blend over it. And I like it because I already have foundation on this. But yeah, it's a good way to do it. I'm gonna blend it out even more in just a second, but I haven't done my concealer yet. So let me just do this really quick. But what you wanna do to really snatch in that nose is highlight, and I'll bring that concealer in even more, but I'm just putting it right there. This is highlighting. And you can go down the bridge of the nose too. I already did it kind of with the KKW, but we'll just do it with this guy too. And then obviously this part right here. And then I like to do this because it kind of lifts. And if you're really trying to snatch and go somewhere very, you know, like an event or something like that, or a wedding or something, you could just go in with your concealer and kind of go right here. And that's gonna make that contour even more structured. I'm just giving you examples of what you can do. And then around the nose area, what I like to do is I like to take that concealer up right there and then just start blending it into the darker part of that contour. Then I'm gonna take the blender and just blend everywhere now. And I'm gonna go so lightly, and I'm gonna blend everything to make sure everything is kind of meshed together. There's no harsh lines. and that will get you a nice blended cream contour. Do you see how nothing looks muddy, nothing looks ashy, but it still looks chiseled in a very natural way? I did powder my skin, so we are going to get into more of a powdered contour look now, and I kind of calmed down. I didn't really do too much, as you can tell. It's just a very, very slight but natural way to contour the skin. I'm going to quickly touch on the brushes I like. So I have another Luxie one that I use for my powdered one. I just collect 2 of those on hand. And then I also like the Scott Barnes number 63. This is actually an eyeshadow brush, but I think it works really good to go down the nose. It has such a nice shaping to it. It's just very easy just to roll down the face. For the cheekbones, you really want to stick to like brushes that have a smaller head versus something like this brush where it's really fluffy for blushes. This is another good cream contour one and even powdered contour. This is the Fenty Beauty Face 125 brush. This is really good for cream products. It's more dense, so I would probably stick to more cream products with that one, but that's a really good one for cream contouring as well. You can do something very small if you really want to get more detailed, and this is the Bdellium Golden Triangle. This is the 767 large tapered blending brush. This is a really good one to get in there and really define that cheekbone area. The Rephr number 4 brush is one of my favorites to really get in there and just really precisely put the contour in there. Another one is the Chikuhodo PS2. You guys see me use this cheek brush in majority of my videos. For bronzers, for contour, it's just so easy to get in there and it blends out like a dream. These are natural hair brushes though, bear that in mind. This is the Marc Jacobs, the blush brush, but I actually like using it for contour because it really is like the perfect length. This is the natural hair version. This is the synthetic version. Synthetic's gonna pop in a little bit more color, where the natural one is just very soft and is just gonna like give you that softer, more air. It does the work for you, you know? And if you get really good synthetic ones, you can get that, but brushes do make a difference. I hate to tell you guys that, but they really, really do. So just keep that in mind. But anyway, as far as these brushes go, these Marc Jacobs ones, I really love contouring with those. This Scott Barnes one is really good as well. This is the number 65. This is like a fat fan brush. You can tell I use this one a lot. This is really gonna give you that chiseled, very chiseled, but blendable contour. So this is a really good one as well. All of these brushes are good. You just decide on which ones you guys like. And if you like more affordable brands, Morphe has good ones. More middle ground would be Sigma. Middle ground would be Sigma brushes. But typically these are the brushes that I turn to for my nose contour and my regular cheek contour. So today we're gonna go with the Marc Jacobs. We'll do the synthetic one just to place a little bit more pigment. So let's start off with the nose. I mean, pretty much we've already structured the nose with the cream contour. So we already have a placement in there. So we don't need too much. Now what I like to do again is just go in there and really make sure this is a powdery product. So make sure you get that kickback out of there. Sometimes I'll even kind of place it on my hand a little bit just to make sure, again, starting in that middle area right here too. Just so you know that's where the product's going to lie. Bring it down, and then you can bring whatever's left over on the brush up to the brow area. And you can do this like that as well. Just make sure you don't get too much product in there. And you can get it into your eyebrows a little bit, and that will soften out that edge. And then again, the same thing we did with the cream is you're just kind of bringing that in like that. And just really softly starting to blend it. And we'll blend it more when we put the lighter powder. And then we'll take some more on that. Just remember, the closer you bring in the lines, the more snatched and pinched in your nose is going to look. And then you're just gonna blend it out again. And again, just pushing it forward. Never go down that way, always go up. Going towards inside, towards your nose bridge. And then you can even go over it a little and just really just make sure this side is clean. Don't put product on there. Keep that kind of clean. We'll blend it out more in a second, but you're just blending it a little bit. I like to really go into my eyebrows. Then I like to go in with this Scott Barnes number 62 brush. It's one of my favorites. And I like to it's a very soft synthetic brush, which really blends out the product so well. And it's a good one to kind of start getting it into. So I actually used the HOOLA bronzer as my eyeshadow transition color. So I'm gonna go back into that HOOLA bronzer, okay? And again, you can nose contour with that one as well. You don't have to use the KEVYN AUCOIN. The KEVYN AUCOIN is my favorite. Just blending it in. It's just bringing everything and kind of just making everything cohesive and go together. And then what I like to do is what I love about this little duo. And yes, it's not very much product, but I've had this for like 3 months now, and I use it every time I do my makeup. I've barely made a dent out of it. So it does last a long time because you're not using a lot, you know, especially if you're just using it for your nose contour, and then just go down the bridge of your nose. I like to even take like this Jaclyn Hill brush and again put some more on there. If you don't make that straight, you're gonna give yourself a very crooked nose. And then what I like to do, just to make sure everything's straight, come back in with the nose perfector and then just blend again. And then what you're gonna do, take my Sonia G. You guys hear me talk of, if this is like the one brush you can get your hands on for a natural hair brush, this Sonia G Worker. I like the Worker 2 and I like the Worker 3. This is Worker 3. Either one is fine. And I think it just blends like a dream. And you can get that scent. I'm just taking the NARS Eden powder. I use this a lot, you guys. And you're just kind of, again, snatching in that nose. And by bringing in the light there and the shadowing there, you're just like making that nose very narrow. You can even use that for down the bridge of the nose if you did the HOOLA powder. And then I just go in with like a clean brush. This is just a Real Techniques one. And just start softening that out. You can leave that as like a bake. If you bake that, it's gonna leave that more, it's gonna be even more pronounced, okay? The longer you leave that bake on there, and you can bake with anything. You can bake with any translucent powder you have. All right, now let's go in with the cheek contour. So again, we already have color from the cream down, and that was pretty simple. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna take the natural hair because I already have cream down there and I already have a base of pigment down there. If I didn't have the base down there, I would want to go in with more of my synthetic one. But because I already have a base down there, I don't want to put too much. Start small. If you go like, you know, just a little bit lighter than you would naturally want to, it's so much more natural and easy to blend. That's what I like about the HOOLA one versus the MAC one has a lot of pigment, so you have to be really careful. So I'm gonna take the HOOLA one today. And this is such a good one for contouring. And then again, you just kind of want to start it like right here, remember? Because that's where we want most of the pigment. And I like to press it in because I have texture there. By pressing that in and not rubbing it, I feel like it doesn't accentuate my texture as much. I don't know if that's just me, okay? That's just how I feel like it does it. But see how natural that is? That just HOOLA bronzer just really makes it natural. And then what I like to do, once I place that in there, I like to take an even softer brush, like my Chica Hoda one, and that's when I feel like I can kind of go in more and swipe. But do you see how that just gave it a very natural finish? And sometimes what I'll do is just take like this Real Techniques brush, just a really fluffy brush. I'll go back in with my Charlotte Tilbury because this really just kind of airbrushes everything. I'll go back in there, dust that off a little bit, and just start smoothing it. And that's another thing, is you have to make sure you're always blending, because you can get harsh lines if you don't, and it can look very muddy. Now I have texture there, so it's not gonna look perfect and amazing, okay? So just keep that in mind as well. I mean, I choose to still continue putting contour there, but you know, obviously it would be much better if I didn't have any texture there, because it's gonna grip onto any texture you have. Just remember that whatever dark or light color you have, light colors are going to accentuate texture and dark colors are gonna grab a hold and look patchy. So that's why you have to really make sure you're using the right products and the right brushes. It makes a huge difference, and not going too cool tone for everyday look, okay? If you're in a magazine or a red carpet or doing a lot of photography and stuff like that, that's when you can kind of get away with the shadowing, the cooler tones, you know, the very ash tone, true contour colors. But if you're a beginner, like and you're just doing an everyday natural look, that can look really muddy in person. So just keep that in mind. And, you know, just remember, filling, especially if you didn't put a cream contour, I already have a guide there, but if I didn't, you know, really making sure that you're feeling that cheekbone area. And it's still actually a little tacky there. That's another thing. If you're not powdered down, like I didn't put a lot of powder there because I knew I was going in with this, but if it's not powder and silky smooth, that's when it's going to start looking muddy and patchy, and that's when you definitely want to make sure you're patting down. If I went in there and it was still wet or tacky from, you know, because a lot of people like to wear luminous foundations and those don't dry down right away, and you go in there with a powdered contour, you are not so much cream, because you're still using like a beauty blender or some type of blending liquid brush, so you're okay. But when you're going in with powder and you're not doing a cream contour, that's when you don't want to go in there right away and do that. So you want to make sure you're really setting down. So either set that down with translucent powder before you go in with these powders, and make sure it's translucent, because some of these powders, and sometimes even translucent powders, can give like a gray casting. It depends on the powder you use, but a lot of powders can give gray castings, and then you go over it with contour, then you're really looking muddy and patchy. So that's another thing to be mindful for. You just have to really play around with different powders. I never have a problem with Charlotte Tilbury. I think NARS Eden, this is another phenomenal one like the Charlotte Tilbury, where it just gives you a nice, beautiful airbrush to look. But see how I just did that, and I'm going in very light-handed. I'm trying not to, because you're gonna go in there with bronzer. A lot of the times you're not just contouring, you're gonna put bronzer and blush on, so you don't have to be too aggressive with it. And I think that's the thing too, is I think a lot of the times when we do, you know, when you're a beginner and you get into contour, you're kind of like, oh, I need to go aggressively. But remember, you're gonna go over that with bronzer. So really be mindful of that. And now I'm just gonna kind of just softly, and I don't have anything on this Chikuhodo one, I'm just kind of softly going in there and just blending it out. Now I'm gonna go back in with the Charlotte Tilbury, and you can just be done and that's it. Or you can start going on the jawline, and then you're just gonna go underneath like that again. Just right underneath. Try not to go right here. You want to go underneath, okay? Because especially if you have like any kind of double chin or weight gain there, by going underneath, you're basically hiding that. You're cutting it, okay? So you're giving yourself a nice little diet right there without having to go on a diet. Again, face structure means everything. Some people don't want to do that. They don't want to make it look so thin. So, you know, this is all your own face. You know your face, okay? So I'm gonna do it just because I'm showing it to you guys. And then what I like to do sometimes is just blend it, because what if my foundations, I tend to like to go a little bit lighter on my foundations, as you guys already know that. But yeah, that kind of just really gives you that nice structure. Again, you can do the forehead. And then again, I just like to go over it and just keep, it's a process. You just keep, even on the chin, you want to make sure it's not too aggressive. And then if you lighten this area and you keep it very highlighted there, like I'll take the Eden powder, that's going to make it look even more structured, okay? Lightening and shadowing, that's all it is, okay? Remember, whatever you lighten is going to pronounce the area, like your little middle of your forehead or your cheekbones, the center of your nose, to really make that look more, you know, structured, your chin, where the sun naturally hits you too. A lot of the times that's where you highlight. But if you really want your cheekbones, like right here, to really like a J-Lo or Kim Kardashian look, you want to highlight this area, but you want to suck in that area, and that just gives you more of a structured face. This probably went a little bit more beyond the basics, but I'm just kind of giving you guys a guide, and you stop where you want. Just say, Christy, I don't want to do all that. I just want the powder. You could have just done that powdered one, and that would have taken you like a couple minutes to do that. I'm just talking, but it would go really fast. Or I just want to do the cream one, and then I just want to set my face. Well, boom, you can do that. Like how I just came back on camera. You could have just left it there, put your bronzer or your blush, whatever you want to do on, and be done. But that's it. Now, I'm just gonna go a little bit, because some people want to go a little bit further. What you could do is cut in your cheekbones. You can either do that with one of these two powders. You can go in with like my Hourglass setting powder. I like to use my Hourglass setting powder and, you know, get some good amount of powder in there. Then take like your sponge. You can do any sponge. That's when I really love my Morphe one, because it really cuts in good. Actually, I think I'll use that one. And, you know, make sure it's damp but not wet. So just make sure it's not wet. And then you just go in there and you just wiggle that around, get it nice and saturated, and then you just go in and you slice. And that's really, you see that, how that's really defining it. And the longer you leave that on there, the longer it's going to look more chiseled, and it's going to stay. And you can do the same thing with the nose, and that just makes it stay longer. If you have very dry skin, make sure you're using a powder like Hourglass. Gosh, some of the, I think, to me, Hourglass is the only one personally when my skin was extremely dry. Right now it's just normal, sometimes getting a little bit oily, but when it was extremely dry, like oily, Laura Mercier is amazing, or One Size Beauty has a really good one. But for dry skin, this Hourglass one is the only powder I can use that doesn't make me break out, and it really just leaves my skin looking so poreless and beautiful, and it doesn't stick to any dry patches. So if you have eczema, really dry skin, you know, breakouts and stuff like that, very sensitive skin, that Hourglass Veil Translucent Powder is the ultimate best one on the market. I know Tatcha just came out with their silky one. It has coconut oil in it, so I cannot use that one. So I'm not even gonna go and spend $48 on something I know that will probably break me out. And I like that that one has no scent in it, so that's what makes it nice. So again, the longer you leave it on, the better. We're not gonna leave it on that long. But the longer you leave it on, remember, if you have very dry skin, it can negatively impact that. But again, I have never had any problems with this Hourglass one. But do you see how easy that Hourglass one just blends? It is so nice. I love that powder. But that just kind of really chisels. See how that really chisels that face in like that? And you could just leave that there and pop on some blush and be done, or you can go in with bronzer and bronze up the skin a little bit more using more of a warmer bronzer. It really just depends on you. I am gonna go in with a little bit of bronzer. This is the LYS. I'm not reviewing it, but this is a clean beauty line. First African-American clean beauty line CEO. So very excited. She came from Pure Cosmetics, and she has a very affordable, clean line at Sephora now. I mean, very affordable. I think this was like $22. I'll put it right there. I think it comes in 4 colors. I got Harmony. I didn't want to do anything too dark. Again, I want to make sure, because I notice sometimes in my videos that it just looks aggressive, and I'm like, I need to calm down on the color tone. I need to go down a notch. And I used to, like, I don't want the effort, right? I used to be like, I just want pigment right away. Honestly, I'm learning that the buildable formulas are much better than the really pigmented ones, because that's when things look patchy and muddy, and that's when you can get yourself into trouble. So I'm gonna go in with my Chikuhodo brush. That's what it looks like. I tried the Ilia one, and it's just too pigmented, you guys. It's a good one, but a little too orange, and I went with the lighter one. A little too pigmented and a little too orange. So I liked this one much better, and it was a lot more affordable. So look at that. Look at how beautiful that bronzer is. It goes on so nicely that I don't really feel like I have to build it very much, but I also don't have to worry about it going on too aggressively. Have you guys heard of this brand? If you've tried any of their products? But I am impressed. I do want to try the foundation. I just have to look at the ingredients again and make sure there's no coconut oil. When they clean up stuff and they substitute coconut oil in there, but then it clogs the pores and it's not good for us sensitive skin girls, so it defeats the whole clean beauty to me. Yeah, I think that's it, you guys. I don't really want to do much more than that. I'm not even going to put highlighter on today. I just wanted to kind of keep it more simplistic. I know it's not simplistic to most people, but it's simplistic for me. And I hope that really helped you guys out. I wanted to make it so that it's not too difficult, but it can still go that little extra mile for some people that really want to get into contouring and really structuring the face, but don't know where to start. But I also wanted to keep it basic enough where that, you know, you can stop at any point and still be able to utilize these techniques. It's tricky. Contouring is tricky. It can really go wrong. And again, stick to products that are buildable, okay? Stick to those products that don't punch a lot of pigment, but are easy to blend, like that KKW stick. Again, if I narrowed everything down, I would say pick up this KKW, depending on your skin tone. Medium 2 worked really well for me. You can wait till it comes back in stock on her website, or you can just pick up the one at Ulta. It's always in stock there. And I love the KEVYN AUCOIN for the powdered one. Again, you get that highlight and the powder in one duo. HOOLA bronzer, amazing, affordable, always can get good deals with that. You can't go wrong. So if you're a beginner, I still would probably stick to HOOLA bronzer, and because that just is a very universal tone for most skin tones. If you want to splurge and use the Tom Ford and Chanel, you can. They're very easy to work with. Again, everyone contours differently, so don't say, well, this girl does it this way, how come you're doing it this way? It's all preference. At the end of the day, just find who you want to learn from. And you know, sometimes it's face structure too. We match up, like, oh, I have a kind of a face structure like her, so I'm going to contour like her. But remember, everyone's face structure is different. We're all unique and beautiful in our own way. Contour, don't contour, whatever you want to do. I hope all those tips helped you guys. Let me know if there was anything helpful or anything else you want me to do and you want to see on my channel, because I love, love, love hearing from you guys. Thank you for all the love and support. We are almost to 10,000. Hopefully by the time this releases, we may hit 10,000. If you're new to my channel, please remember to hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell so you can get notified, because I do upload new videos every Sunday, you guys, and you don't want to miss it. Please give this video a huge thumbs up. Hit that like button. It really helps me out, you guys, in the algorithm. I really appreciate all that support. And if you're not already following me on Instagram, please follow me at Christy Allure on Instagram and on my blog, ChristyAllure.com. Again, I will have all of everything we talked about, I will have in the description box, so whatever I can't fit in that description box, go ahead and head on over to my blog, because it will all be there by the time this video is released. I love you guys so much, and I will see you next Sunday. Bye!